those lit words that only Gen Y kids can say?
We're actually Gen Z.
I can't keep track.
It's okay.
That's okay.
We're the very last Z.
We need a...
Oh, you think you're the last generation?
Today's UN report details the relentless advance of climate change on every continent. The world's glaciers shrinking at a dramatic pace right before our eyes.
Times more likely by the climate crisis. Meanwhile, other end of the spectrum, more than 90 massive wildfires are blazing in the west.
100 degrees Fahrenheit consumption and growth.
Our house is on fire. I am here to say our house is on fire. According to the IPCC, we are less than 12 years away from not being able to undo our mistakes.
Groups of students across America say they will skip class tomorrow for the first national school strike over climate change.
Fossil fuels have got to go! I now fear for the future. I've always feared for my future, but I fear living on the planet I was birthed on. In the media.
This has to change!
Yes, right, this has to change.
And they came to a pretty logical conclusion. Why keep going to school to prepare for a future that might not even
There
exist?
Are definitely some people from older generations that have realized, oh, these children want a future, but it is mostly my generation that's doing the most, and I feel like it shouldn't have to be our responsibility.
Hi, my name is Noah Forer.
I'm an 8th grade student at Black Rock Middle School.
I enjoy music and dance. And I want a future.
And I want a future.
I want a future.
I want a future.
And I want a future.
I want a future.
I want a future.
I want a future.
And I would like to have a future.
Back now, a CBS News Philadelphia investigation. Plans for athletic fields on a property rich with history on the main line have stirred controversy.
Tucked away in a forest that's managed to stand the test of time in Villanova, Oakwell is smack in the middle of a tug of war over its future. CBS News Philadelphia investigation. We learned the Lower Merion School Board voted in 2018 to take the property at 1835 County Line Road by eminent domain, a process where government lawfully seizes private property and converts the land for public use. The school board meeting happened with little fanfare, despite the controversy that has grown in recent months.
My name's Noah Forer. I'm a senior at Lower Merion High School.
I think the first time I actually heard about Oakwell, it was last spring. I was just walking home from school and I saw these people protesting with signs and there was all this honking. So I stopped and started talking to one of the women, and her name was Holly Manzone, and she started telling me about Oakwell and what it was. And at first I was like, is she sure she's talking about the right school? I was like, I feel like I would have known about this. After that, we exchanged contact, and then this fall, she let me know that there was a board meeting, and she told me that there hasn't been any students, no student voices, no students speaking up about Oakwell, which was really shocking to me. But yeah, that night I went home, I did as much research as I could, and then I went and I spoke at my very first school board meeting.
Now, speaking on behalf of the students that you guys represent, I don't understand how over 500 trees that are up to 300 years old can be cut down for fields. I understand that sports are important, but the majority of the students that I've talked to about this don't know about Oakwell, don't know about the issue, don't know about the trees that are going to be cut down. I think that before you guys make decisions for us, you should also be communicating to us about this. I would be more than happy to speak to the middle schoolers that this action is going to be made for, and I assure you that we would happily fill this room and tell you that we don't want this to happen.
Not knowing what to expect, not knowing who would be there, but I spoke and people heard, and that's kind of where it all started.
I'm 16, I'm a sophomore at Lower Merion High School. I help run LM Sage Club, I help run LM's Environmental Club, I work with our HSDA, I am big in our theater group for no reason. I first learned about the Oakwell movement spring of last year, spring of my freshman year. I am an environmentalist, I work with Sunrise Philly, I do a lot of environmental activism, environmental stuff outside of school, and I saw that and I was like, that's interesting, I'll keep that top of mind.
Hi, so I'm Willa Godfrey. I am a junior at Lower Merion High School,
and I am the vice president of our environmental club.
So I want to say I first learned about Oakwell this past fall, joining the environmental club.
Noah was pretty much my gateway into this.
There was the club fair. I was with a boy I liked, and he signed up for the environmental club. And I was like, oh, it's an opportunity, spend more time with him. So I signed up for it, and it turned into so much more.
She kind of brought it to the club talking about Oakwell, and I was like, what is this? You know, like what are we talking about?
I was at an environmental club meeting, and Noah Foyer introduced the Oakwell movement and told me about a place I'd never gone before. I'd gone to Stoneleigh multiple times with my parents, my grandparents, my friends, but I'd never known about Oakwell.
As the year was getting started up, I was like, I want to know what things I should be getting, like the activist groups that I help run, what I should be bringing their attention to. And one of the things that kept coming up was people being mad about Oakwell.
This is a wonderful opportunity for the students of the Lower Merion School District.
They didn't look at student input at all, from what I've heard. I haven't heard a single story of them talking to any students about their decision.
They did not get student input for making these decisions.
I just find it really concerning that none of the adults in my life, who live in this district and have opinions, I was never informed about it from them, especially from our school board, not even a heads up or anything to the student body.
We were really angered by this because it's something that will affect the students of LMSD, and almost no students, I don't think any students had any idea that this was going to be happening.
So yeah, I just found out from other students who are also passionate about the environment.
My name is Ryan Betley. I am a conservation biologist by training. When I first saw Noah speak in October, and I saw her passion and how she saw the potential in this place, I knew immediately that we needed to connect.
I brought her to the environmental club, and then that's when we really started learning about Oakwell. I only knew of Oakwell as a forest. I had no idea that there was a whole historical side to it.
The Bodian family that was based in Villanova purchased Stoneleigh from Edmund Smith, and the entire 65 acres of the property passed to this family, and this entire area from County Line Road to Montgomery Road all the way down to Spring Mill, this entire area was one intact estate of the original Stoneleigh. The purpose of this part of the property shifted around the time of World War I for the community. And we do know through historical records again that Stoneleigh and the Bodian family created an innovative gardening and horticultural training program for young women 100 years ago. These war gardens were feeding the community, and this is something that tells us a little bit about community resilience during a time of hardship, and it's something that is lost within the history of Lower Merion.
She really taught us about the historical background of Oakwell, and that really piqued the environmental club's interest.
And then realized that she had an entire group of passionate, motivated, curious, inspirational students along with her.
I was looking around for things to fix. I was like, all right, we're gonna look into this. And so in October, I think, I wrote an article for the Marionite on it.
Then we organized visits to Oakwell.
We here. We read. Excuse me, do you mind if I ask you a question? What is your thoughts on this really pretty red bark here?
I think this is beautiful. Look at the bark, look at the leaves, look at the way they're turning.
Wow.
Imagine if this was cut down.
Oh.
What would you do?
Why would you cut that down?
I smell the pine, I smell all the leaves, the beautiful landscape, all this nature, natural.
And where exactly are we?
We're here in Oakwell Forest. It's going to be saved. The Lower Merion School District wants to tear it down for a sports field for Black Rock Middle School. We're not going to let it happen.
When you first go there, it's kind of hidden from you when you first get on the road. You don't really see what's there.
You walk in and you're surrounded by this gorgeous nature. You feel kind of at peace.
But walking around Oakwell, it was, oh, there is magic here.
So we just have live intel. News-shattering, earth-quaking news. My name is Noah Forer. I am the news reporter for the Environmental Club.
There is something here that is more than human, that is more than understandable, that is thrill, that is the thing that you get when you're in Disney World and you're looking around and you're 7 years old. I get that feeling. This is something that is precious. This is something that only gets to exist in a few places, and that once it's gone, never gets to come back.
One memory specifically I have is probably maybe a couple months after I got involved in Oakwell. I came back for a state tour. I looked straight in front of me and I saw the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. It just showed me how much this place is just incredible. It's like there's nowhere like it. There's nowhere that you're going to see something anywhere similar to it. It's just so unique and beautiful, and it's crazy. And that's just really what got me in.
We're looking at a 1921 map created by the Olmsted brothers of this property 100 years ago. So right next to us is the greenhouse complex.
If you look around, you can envision what was once here. And this right here is where, during World War I, women came together to grow crops.
Come here. Look at the greenhouse. Look at the little. Come on. Come on.
What? Dude, this is my first time seeing this. Oh my god.
Look at that. Can you see that?
Sir, where are we right now?
We're here, next to the house.
Let's go.
I think that I cried a little bit, like in a teary up way, not like in a sobbing way. Of like, do you ever realize how much the world contains? Ever go somewhere and you're like, this world is perfect, and I love it.
Wow.
Initial thoughts?
This is beautiful.
Are you tearing up? What are your guys' initial thoughts?
It's so beautiful.
It's just kind of ethereal. And I think that the fact that not only do we have this sort of green space in our area, but the fact that the district owns it and that they don't choose to take advantage of what we already have, this nature, and instead want to turn it into fields is just kind of depressing to me.
There was genuinely so much to see in Oakwell that we couldn't just see it in one visit. So we went to more.
And then once we learned more about it, we invited other members of the community to come and we would give the tours.
After that is really when the momentum picked up and we started reaching out to more community members. We started getting involved with the Save and Preserve Oakwell movement.
After school on Fridays, instead of going to Suburban with our friends like other kids might do, we standed outside of the school with signs protesting Oakwell being torn down.
And through our involvement and research, we kind of created the student-led Oakwell movement. I have a vision. Do you want to hear what my vision is?
I'd love to hear your vision.
We're sitting in the original arboretum and greenhouse structure. I'm like, I don't know, I just feel pretty relaxed. I feel pretty enlightened. I feel at peace. I'm feeling hopeful and opportunities. Like, whoa, what if, just a crazy idea, what if we brought like students here and had classes here and maybe just pushing it like educational classes, but like being here instead of sitting at a desk. I wanted the board to hear all of the students. I wanted them to hear everything that we needed, and I wanted them to hear it directly from us.
My name is Julia Dubnoff.
I'm an 8th grade student at Black Rock Middle School.
And I'm an officer of the Harriton Environmental Club and Sage Club, which is our activism club.
I am a 3-sport varsity athlete who has played soccer since I was 4.
I'm a senior at Lower Merion High School, and I'm an alternate captain of the combined Lower Merion and Harriton girls varsity hockey team.
And I want a future.
I want a future.
Want a future.
I want a future.
So we just kind of combined our different knowledges, our different backgrounds, and our different points of interest to come up with a proposal.
The second of 5 goals laid out in the LMSD strategic plan was student-driven schools. Tonight, LMSD students are happy to step into the driver's seat. And together, we've created a proposal that's on all of your desks right now. We call it ACORNS, Action Center for Organizing Resilience and Natural Sustainability Education.
We would spend our entire environmental club
exchanging ideas, exchanging information. We spread out maps on tables in the high school and talked about how different parts of this property could be used in different ways. And it led to this amazing, emergent brainstorming.
We outreached to the Harriton Environmental Club and worked together with them to do the same. And this all led up to the November 21st board meeting.
Good evening and welcome to the November 21st, 2022 regular business board meeting of the Lower Merion Board of School Directors. We do have a large group of students here this evening, and we have a general policy to allow our students to speak first, especially on a school night. So I'm going to open up public comment for students now, if you would like.
I think we definitely caught the board members off guard that day because there had never been that many students to speak at a board meeting before in the history of the Lower Merion School District. We had completely broken the record.
Tonight, you'll hear students walk you through the details of this proposal and our aims. To uphold the dignity and indigenous history of the land, integrate Oakwell in groundbreaking curriculum, improve health and well-being, build a shared public space, and inspire other school districts. Our district has a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and we're here to show you what we know is possible.
A month ago, at this very podium, at this very board meeting, I came up to this very podium to speak about this very important issue. But today, I am not standing alone. Today, I am standing with a room full of students that have my back and have Oakwell's back.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board,
it is disheartening to see the direction of our world is headed in with shootings and wars and so on, but adding the looming threat of climate change is not helping.
I'm scared. I'm scared of a beautiful forest that's become so dear to me and to people I care about being torn down in my name.
You all are making a pivotal decision in LMSD's history that will affect students and educators for generations to come. The destruction of Oakwell will cost taxpayers upwards of $20 million, $13 million to purchase the 2 properties.
Talking about something that is needed. You're fighting for something. I had never done that before, of truly standing up and fighting for something that can't be stood up for.
Powerful history and beautiful land to athletic fields.
Being able to be a part of sports in school is very important to me, so I was thrilled to learn about the new facilities at Black Rock Middle School. I've already enjoyed running at Black Rock Track. From my understanding, the innovative style of Black Rock is to create a school for the future that implements open classroom designs to increase students' motivation and learning. But my excitement about the district's new facilities was crushed when I learned that instead of using the Black Rock fields to their full extent and being creative about combining teams across the middle schools, as I have done with the football teams, the district thought it would be in their athletes' best interest to spend upwards of $20 million on the fields that are not even within walking distance of the new school.
On the Lower Merion School District's website, and I quote you, LMSD offers a transformative interdisciplinary curriculum that is student-driven and fosters innovation and positive risk-taking. It transcends standards, is inquiry-based, and connects the classroom to the world. You all claim that our district has transformative curriculum, yet are throwing away this opportunity to actually connect our classrooms to the world. So I definitely wanted to focus on the curriculum aspect of it because I think the school board needed to see the difference between what they said they had and what they could possibly have.
Unit 1 of the curriculum of Global Studies 1 is the skills of a historian. This special place, now owned by our school district, can help us further develop our historical and critical thinking skills through hands-on learning.
The application of Oakwell into our transformative curriculum classrooms could be monumental. I have a real interest in history, and in my AP US history course, I would love to learn more about the direct history of where I grew up. Just 4.4 miles from my school, Oakwell lies dormant, with the possibility to stimulate the endlessly curious minds of our students. The moment I became aware of Oakwell, I was transfixed.
Now, let me address the ecological importance of Oakwell.
2 days before the November 21st board meeting, Erin reached out to us and sent us a letter from a 4th grader named Greta Agnew. Because she was so young and had to be in bed, she couldn't come to the November 21st board meeting. So instead, we decided to read it on her behalf. We decided to read it for her at the board meeting because we thought it was very important for the school board to hear what she had to say.
And then Dylan Spivak.
Hi, my name is Juliet Arani. I live in Lower Merion Station, and I want a future. Today I will be speaking on behalf of Greta Agnew. I'm writing to express my opinion about the new auxiliary field that will be built on what is now known as Oakwell. I looked up the word auxiliary, and it seems to be an extra field you're building.
When I heard my letter first being spoken at the school board meeting by a high schooler, I was like...
Okay, Noah, then Adam, and then Dylan.
But before I begin my speech, I would like to finish Greta's speech because she is a 4th grader that wrote this speech that I personally think is very powerful, and I think that her voice should still have a say.
Because the high schooler said that they had their own speech, but they said they wanted to read my letter. I was like, maybe I'm onto something here.
There are over 80 species of trees at Oakwell. 80.
It is a biodiverse landscape that includes a densely wooded area that can be traced back to at least 1887, and trees that may be older than the United States. How do I know this? Because we measured these trees with our own hands. 72% of the 13-acre site is covered by tree canopy and shrubs. 14 tons of carbon are sequestered annually by trees on the site, and 360 tons of carbon are stored in existing trees.
And there was historical context there was other alternatives. I made a sketch of like a proposal about what the greenhouse could be in Oakwell.
I propose we preserve the property and build a new greenhouse and community garden to reinstate what Oakwell was originally used for. With these gardens, students' well-being would flourish while they learn to be more sustainable and grow healthy food. Our school cafeteria does not do the best job at teaching students the value of healthy food and how good it can taste. If we have these gardens, however, kids will soon learn that and are more likely to enjoy nutritious fruits and vegetables because they themselves grew them. The benefits of the gardens and food can not only be reaped by LMSD students, we can reach out to community members and people in need to have them enjoy it too.
Imagine with me for a second a future where kids aren't worried about this kind of thing. Walk with me through a forest where children are playing beneath the trees. An art class is sketching. An apes class might be on a field trip learning about the ecology in our area. Imagine with me a future that's possible.
Now? Sorry, okay. I'm Smith Bedenko. I'm 16 and I go to Lower Merion High School. This was my first time playing outdoors. This is just such a beautiful place with so much life and so much history. It doesn't feel fair to turn it into fields. I don't think it's worth it. After hearing what it sounds like being the person performing in the center, the acoustics, they carry out everywhere. And it's just so beautiful. It's such a beautiful sound, playing and being in the audience.
We could incorporate the incredible scenery and architecture into many after-school clubs. I also happen to be a member of the photography club, and the opportunities to learn about framing and using natural light are plentiful. We could also incorporate many of the different species and wonderful ecosystems of Oakwell into the science program.
Every single person I spend just 10 minutes with talking about Oakwell can see the profound potential it has. In just 10 minutes, someone who knows nothing about Oakwell wholeheartedly can see the beauty of why this opportunity could be so innovative for our curriculum.
So the Wednesday before the board meeting,
And we were frantically trying to get in contact with any Black Rock Middle School students, because at this point, we haven't heard from any Black Rock Middle School students. We didn't get their input. We didn't even know if they were aware about Oakwell.
someone in Environmental Club had like a bunch of Black Rock kids numbers, so we decided to make a big group chat with all of them, and one person answered, and that was
Bella Hertz, and she was interested, and we started talking to her, and I was like, I know this is really crazy and really random, but we need to tell you something.
A couple of high schoolers reached out to me just a few days ago and asked me if I knew anything about Oakwell. I admitted that I didn't, and they explained to me all about Oakwell and the school district's plans to level it. Even in that quick couple of minutes overview of what was really going on, it was more than enough to get me to stop and think for a minute. Like, wow, this really isn't okay. I literally cannot believe that the school district was planning on leveling this absolutely gorgeous place just to make a couple of fields for my school. I myself am on the lacrosse team, and I have friends on the softball team, and we all came to the same conclusion that while sports are a very important part of the school, the preservation of local history, stunning architecture, and enchanting grounds is of a higher priority to us.
I believe wholeheartedly in the benefits of athletics. Beyond just getting exercise, sports has been a place for me to make close friendships, learn to work hard, and discover how to be a leader. I am here to remind you that we are not asking you to take away athletic opportunities from Black Rock Middle School students. Rather, we are simply asking you to look at our wonderful school district and realize that instead of destroying the Oakwell Reserve, we should be dedicating our time to evaluating every other possibility.
Powerful. Like, it is really cool to walk into a room of people with folders of work you've done and have like 20 people behind you. I felt loved by this like really big community of people whose care was oriented in the same direction as mine, and I felt I felt whole. I felt like this is what I was meant to be doing.
The destruction of Oakwell is antithetical to everything the district says in their strategic plan and mission statement.
Board members, I encourage you to take great pride in what we are doing here today. We have shown that Lower Merion students are engaged, organized, and take civic responsibility very seriously, which is something that many adults lack. Recognize that you care for us and want what's best for us. But for now, what the students need is to be heard and respected by those who hold their futures in their hands.
As said in the mission statement, Lower Merion School District strives to ensure that all students achieve their highest level of critical thinking and creativity. Tonight, students have shared with you ideas to achieve this objective.
The proposal that we have spent the past month going into Oakwell to create, I have spent hours on the phone call with Polly and many other peers till 1 a.m. proposing, that is currently sitting in front of you, is the Golden Gate opportunity. I don't know each of you personally, which I hope will change in the near future, but I know that each and every single one of you is sitting at this table today because you care about the students, you care about education, and you care about this community. Read our demands of action going forward. We respectfully request that the Lower Merion School Board will, number one, read the Acorns proposal and discuss it with your colleagues. Finally, we ask you to reassess and publicly announce your plans going forward with the Oakwell property based on the Acorns proposal that we have created.
Look around and see that this is what the students want. We want to learn. We are here with the hope that you will see just how much we need you to join our students and preserve Oakwell.
So please, join us and preserve Oakwell.
Join your students and preserve Oakwell.
Join us and preserve Oakwell.
Under the words of the Lower Merion School District Transformative Curriculum, you quote, we quote, "Innovation is the rule, not the exception. Do not let us be the exception. Join us and preserve Oakwell." Thank you.
Thank you.
And we definitely were heard, we definitely made noise, and we only grew from there.
After we finally spoke, Dr. Mumin, the superintendent of the school board.
So I did want to make a point. Yes, we are very interested in hearing what you have to say.
He reached out to us and finally said he would love to meet with us and give us some updates. And this was before we knew that he was going to be leaving and working under Josh Shapiro for the Board of Education. But he came and he met with us, and we were so excited that day. He met with us and he told us that there were different plans for Oakwell. And what he had told us is that after reading our proposal in depth, that they were going to revise their plans, and they thought that there was a possibility for the baseball and softball fields to be placed in a different field area, in polo fields, and that with that extra space that we could build an education center in Oakwell. But we didn't just want that. Although that was great, that wasn't enough. That's not going to cut it. The past 8 months of our efforts have been recognized far beyond our school board. Not only did we receive a letter of support from Commissioner Andy Gavrin, but he even met with us, trying to support us in any way he could. We were invited to attend a private Environmental Action Committee meeting at the Lower Merion Township Building, in addition to the Lower Merion Democratic Committee on School Board Candidate Forum.
Ain't exactly clear. There's a man
Cut out before they start giving us problems. Many Villanova students started hearing about us, and they wanted to get involved and join the movement too.
What's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
As we got together a bunch of Villanova specialists, scientists, arborists, there were mycologists, anyone that specializes in anything environmental, historical, they were there. It was basically the deep scientific evaluation that we wanted from the board, but we didn't get. Nominated by community members, we received the Lower Merion Township and Narberth Bureau's Go for the Green Award on behalf of education.
I was really proud of myself, of all the other people, for all their actions have actually been noticed by some people.
I'm so 100% confident that before I graduate high school, I will see Oakwell as an environmental community center, and you cannot prove me wrong.
It's now June. In a week, I graduate high school, and in 2, the rest of our students will have their last day. And all the tenants that have been living in Oakwell have officially moved out. The destruction that was supposed to happen this end of the month has been postponed. and yesterday Oakwell was officially boarded up with security guards guarding the entrances and exits at night. We're not sure what's next for Oakwell's future.
The first priority for me anyway, is making sure the kids have sufficient fields close to the school. So should that happen, we can happy to discuss alternative uses of that property. But really, that's my first duty.
But what we do know is that we are going to continue fighting. What we know is that our voices have power and our voices have meaning, and students can make change. As Dr. Moomin said in his book, which from what I've read so far is amazing, the challenge going forward is in remaining steadfast in demanding sustainable change and making sure school leaders prepare and form coalitions which support the students in their effort to demand change.
I was here in biology studying all these beautiful different species.
What a crazy idea.
AP Environmental Science could take some great classes.
I thought, what a vision. I can speak in rocket science right now.
I think that we will preserve Oakwell because we all care so much about this. I think that there's no way to really ignore us anymore, just because we've been ignored in the past, we've been ignored before, and I think that there's no more avoiding it.
We're here asking you to preserve Oakwell Forest, and I want you on our side.
Throughout our efforts to communicate with the Lower Merion School District's administrators, most of our efforts were silenced or just plain ignored.
As a district that claims to value student voices, we feel as though our schools have failed to do so.
Always been taught to practice what we preach. Therefore, at LMSD, we hold you to at least the minimum of this standard.
Listen to the children. Listen to us. Just take into account our voices. Just pay attention to us, because it's our future, and we have opinions. Just listen to us.
J'ai sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant dans mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash. En 4 couleurs. Allez hop, un matin, une louloute est venue chez moi, poupée de cellophane, cheveux chinois, un sparadrap, une gueule de bois, a bu ma bière dans un grand verre en caoutchouc. Comme un indien dans son igloo. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, la nana, quel panard, quelle vibration de s'envoyer sur paillasson. Limé, ruiné, vidé, comblé. You are the king of the divan, qu'elle me dit en passant. I am the king of the divan. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Moi. Ça plane pour moi. Ça plane pour moi. Allez hop, t'occupe, t'inquiète, touche pas ma planète. It's not today que le ciel me tombera sur la tête.